Hi, I'm Karen and I'm from I actually write for Lavender and Lovage, which is a food blog. Lavender and Lovage is all about seasonal recipes that are attainable for everybody. I'm a very, very keen advocate of seasonal. I love seasonal cookery, and I'm also, because I've had to do it myself and my family, I'm very keen on actually sort of thrifty, sort of cheap and cheerful dishes as well. So the dish today I'd like to show you is one of my very, very favourite dishes for autumn. It's just the colours, all the ingredients are just so autumnal, it's cheap, it's easy to do, and it's called sausage meatball and fennel bake. Okay, to make your sausage meatball and fennel bake, what you need to do first is to prep the vegetables up. I am not a great peeling of the carrot lover. I think you take a lot of vitamin away from the skin if you do it. So what you need to do is to wash them, and if need be, just sort of give them a bit of a scrub with a Brillo pad. I know it sounds a bit harsh, but do it. So all you need to do is just top and tail it with a nice sharp knife, and then getting the knife, just cut it down on an angle like so. So you have carrot pieces about 1.5 centimetres, half an inch, something like that. We're going to char these slightly, so the bigger the surface area, the more charred area you're going to get later. It's just part of the dish. It makes it really nice. We'll deal with the fennel next. Now, fennel has a very, very slight, very mild aniseed flavour. Now, I want to save the fronds, these little fronds here on the top, to actually decorate the dish when I put it on the table. So just get your knife and slide it through the top. Take off the small bits here. That might be a bit woody on the end. Cut the root off, and then just simply cut the fennel in half. And you'll see that it's almost like an onion inside. You've got all these little sort of different segments here, and that's what we're after. We're after pieces exactly like that, almost as if you're chopping an onion. They all need to be about the same size because obviously they're going to cook together, and that is as easy as it gets for preparing a fennel. 4 large onions, mine are a little bit small today, so just double them up. I mean, it's just, you know, each vegetable should be the same amount. So you want the same amount of carrots, the same amount of fennel, same amount of onions. So it's same with the onions. Just going to cut them into nice sort of like wedges, and some garlic. Just roughly dice them like so, and pop them into the bowl here. And I'm now going to actually season all of my prepared vegetables. So give them a good sort of mix around. I need a good sprinkling of sea salt, nicely freshly ground black pepper. I like it quite peppery, this, but you know, the little ones might not. So, and then this is the pièce de résistance, I think, fennel seeds. And between 1 and 2 teaspoons. And don't go too mad, but we need the vegetables to be, all the vegetables need to be coated in the oil when it actually goes into the oven tray. And just get your hands in, it's the best way to do it. Just mix everything through. Okay, so you pop all your vegetables into just a normal oven tray, and we need a fairly sort of like thin layer of the vegetables, so make sure that your oven dish is big enough to allow that to be in just sort of one layer. Right, okay, so you just put this in the oven, it bakes for 20 minutes, and whilst it's baking in the oven, I'll show you how to make the sausage meatballs. What you want is 450 grams to 500 grams of really good quality sausages. Now, I've got a selection here. You can actually use minced beef if you like, but I'm just going to slit the skin of the sausage like so, and you can see how easily it pulls away. And just pop the sausage into a bowl and carry on doing that. Any sausage will do. You can use Lincolnshire, Cumberland, Oxford, homemade, and for me you cannot beat autumnal bangers. I'm sorry, but there it is. I just love sausages in the autumn. They're just such sort of homely, comforting kind of ingredients, and also they're cheap. So now I've got my sausages actually all peeled. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, a teaspoon of ground cumin, and finally an egg. And I keep my own chickens, so for me it's got to be free range all the way. Now, sausages do have seasoning in, so just a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. And then it's just like the fennel bake, you just have to get in there with your hands and just mix it all up. If the mixture is slightly too wet, just add a few more breadcrumbs. So once I've actually amalgamated all the ingredients together, I can probably set that to one side just to chill slightly before I actually shape the meatballs. Okay, so the meatball mixture's been in the fridge for about 10 minutes. Just get a small bit of mixture, just roll it in your hands and roll it into a little flour. Again, if you're going for gluten-free, then use a gluten-free alternative. So just carry on making them till all the meatball mixture's used up. Don't be too precious about the size. It's about the size of a walnut. I've got some bigger ones here, I've got smaller ones. I'm just going to brown them off in a pan. Just a little drizzle of oil in here. You don't need much because obviously the sausages have got a little bit of fat in them anyway. Put them in an even layer, just brown them off, and they're ready then. You can even do this just after you've actually put the fennel bake in and just set them to one side. All we're looking for is a nice sort of brown, crusty sort of coating on them. Okay, so the fennel bake's been in for 20 minutes now, and as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful already. So you've got a little bit of charring around the edges. Check and make sure you've got enough olive oil in there. I might just drizzle a little bit more on here because it's just catching on the corners. The sausages will actually release a tiny bit of fat. So just drop your meatballs on top of the fennel bake. And of course, as you can see, I've probably got about 24 meatballs here out of only 450 grams of sausages, which is absolutely brilliant. And they'll go in now for another 20 minutes and then it's time to serve up. Okay, so here we are. Dinner's nearly on the table. Just take the sausage, meatball and fennel bake out of the oven. It's been in there for 40 minutes now, but that is absolutely delicious. Look at that. We've got all of the vegetables cooked beautifully. The meatballs have held together. You've got a slight charring around the edge and it's just full of deliciousness and just so easy and so cheap. A couple of meatballs per person. Obviously count them out for the family. And now you're going to see why I kept the fennel fronds. Now sometimes you get a bit sort of wispier on the vegetables, but it's just nice just to put a bit of green on it. It just looks so lovely to actually garnish the meatball bake like that. And drop a few salad leaves on, and the finishing touch is a good wodge of lovely crusty bread. And here we have it, a beautiful autumnal dish which is thrifty, tasty, so easy to make. I give to you my sausage meatball and fennel bake.